Hey, what's going on, YouTube? I think we are live there. Let's just double check. Boom, live and live. All right, diggity dog, let's do it. Dude, I'm super excited. So right now, we are actually at a friend's house. That's a dog barking. I was literally going to say I'm going to be a little bit more quiet than sometimes because our friend is taking a nap upstairs as far as I know. And the neighbor right there is out of control. Oops, I probably should have said the door's open. The dogs are out of control is what I meant. Sorry. Anyway, I'm excited to spend some time with you guys here. This is going to be really good. I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this. Just wanted to make sure the stream is all good. So it looks like we are all good there. I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this here today. Today we're going to be talking about how to train your team or your downline effectively to work with you, or how to work effectively with your upline. So we're going to talk about both sides, how to work effectively with your team and how to work effectively with your upline. So this is going to be really good. So the first thing that you have to know is that you have to be effective yourself personally before you can work effectively with your downline, or not necessarily vice versa. If you work with you can work with your upline really well, even if you're not hyper effective yet. But in order for you to work with your downline well, you have to be effective. So we're gonna look at this from the perspective of you working with your upline, and then we're gonna reverse it, talk about working with your downline. So I know a lot of you are gonna be on this call that maybe you don't have a big downline yet. Even if you do, maybe you're having trouble working with them, maybe you're having trouble motivating them, things like that. And we're going to talk about how to deal with that. We're also going to talk about how you can utilize that upline relationship, because believe it or not, it's one of the most powerful things you have, as you'll find out here in a second. So do me a favor, if you find value in this live video, drop a comment down below. Even if you're not watching this live, even if you're watching this in a week from now, or 2 weeks from now, or a month from now, drop a comment down below. Let me know what was helpful, and leave a like, of course, and that would be fantastic. Number 2, everything that we talk about, for the most part here at MLM Rebels, is about using automated and scalable systems to recruit people into your team. If you want to learn how to do that, go to MLMRebelsBlueprint.com to learn how you can create this type of a system for yourself, no matter what company you're in. We all need a warm market system when we have, when we first start a business, we need quick results. We have to help our team get quick duplication. We all need that, and that system has to be intelligent for sure. But what happens when you run out of that warm market, right? You need to answer that question. Are you buying leads? Are you cold contacting people? Are you cold calling people? Are you relying on leads from someone in your upline or the company or something? The answer is none of those are a good answer, and you need a scalable cold market system to bring you consistent leads, applicants, and people that want to join your team. Otherwise, you're going to get screwed unless that warm market happens to blow up. And for most people, I think we can all agree on this, most people didn't build a huge multi-six-figure business from just the warm market. So go to MLMRebelsBlueprint.com to learn how you can build one for yourself. We literally unveil our entire strategy completely for free at that website, MLMRebelsBlueprint.com. Sound good? All right, sweet. So let's jump into things. We're going to talk about the 4 things that you need to do to be effective as a distributor for your company, and then we're going to talk about how you can engage properly with an upline and a downline. All right? So the 4 things you need to focus on is work, listen, associate, and change your buying habits or volume. Now, I didn't make these things up. I'm not a super genius. I literally just have taken what was taught to me a long time ago that was effective, and now I'm relaying it to you. Okay, so this is not like I didn't make this kind of stuff up. This is tried and true things, and so I'm going to give credit where credit is due. A lot of this information that I'm going to share with you here today actually came from some of our old team, which is a lot of fun. So the first thing is work. You have to effectively work your business in order to get results. Now, when I say work, here's what I mean. Do the stuff that you need to do to grow. You know what it is. I don't need to go and belabor that point. Meaning this. Really, everything comes down to showing the presentation. If you're not showing the presentation to enough people, you're not getting people in. I think if you're showing 5 or 10 presentations a week, then you're at a pretty good pace to recruit enough people to make some really serious forward progress. I'm talking about personal presentations to actual human beings, not to the teddy bear, not to stuff like that, real ones, okay? So that's work. You have to work. If you're not working in your business, you can't possibly lead anyone. Leadership is Greek for example, E-X-A-M-P-L-E. It's not actually Greek for example, but you understand what I'm saying. Leadership means example. If you're not being an example, you're not leading anyone. If you are, John Maxwell talks about leadership, you can either be a tour guide leader, or you can be more of like a Sherpa leader. A Sherpa is someone that goes up with you up the mountain as you climb it. A tour guide sends you off to places they've never been. If you're a tour guide leader, you're not a leader. You're a manager with a revolving door business. If you're a Sherpa type leader, you have a really good shot at being one. So the first one is work. Number 2 is listening. Listening is twofold. Number 1, I can't think of the word, but digest or consume. There we go. Consume enough personal growth / business growth information on a weekly basis so that you can continue to grow. Listen, literally the word listen. You see? You want to make sure that you're valuable to your team. You're not valuable if you can't add value to them. Right? You can't add value to them if you're not valuable. So make sure you have value inside of you. You have to fill your cup before it can come out. The second part of listening is listening to a coach or an upline who has your best interest in mind. I'm not saying blindly listen. I'm not saying not think for yourself. But in the beginning, take what they say and do what they're suggesting that you do. You listen to your boss, right? Why do you listen to your boss? Because they're paying you? That's why you listen to them? What's the contrasted difference between listening to an upline? Hey, Mr. Newbie, show up 5 presentations a week, work, listen, associate, change your buying habits. Those are things I'm suggesting that you do. I don't know if I want to do those. I don't know if the business was quite built like that. I don't know if I really have to show my presentations. I don't really know if I have to, build this kind of a thing and get people to view my, application, all this stuff. I don't know if I should do that, Mr. Upline. Okay, got it. So what do you suggest that you do? Well, I'm kind of have all these, all these other ideas and stuff. That's awesome. All those other ideas are potentially good, but here's the thing. You're coming into something with very little experience, very little results of any kind, and you're trying to disrupt everything. Now, don't get me wrong, disruption is usually done by outsiders. I totally get that, and I'm all for that. But in 99% of cases, if you're coming into the business, you're not trying to disrupt an industry, you're trying to get paid, right? You're trying to disrupt network marketing, you're trying to get paid. You're trying to get paid. Well, guess what? Your upline probably already has really good results, so follow the coaching that they're giving you. Now, let's contrast that back to the job thing. So if we're looking at why am I not listening to my upline? Well, because they're not paying me. Okay? Why do I listen to my boss at work? Because he's paying me. Sweet. So I've literally just admitted to the fact that I'm basically like a dog, right? Hey, dog, sit, I'll give you a treat. Okay, I'll sit. Dog doesn't sit without a treat, but he does sit with a treat. Are you serious? So I'm not going to do something, but logically I can say, okay, I know I'll get results if I do XYZ actions. If I do XYZ actions like my upline recommends I do, I should probably hit the results that they're telling me I'm going to hit, right? I know that logically, but I'm emotionally saying, no, I'm not going to listen. Why? Because I'm not using the same reward system that I've been trained on, which is go to work, get a paycheck. Go to work, get a paycheck. Go to work, get a paycheck. Listen to boss, get a paycheck. Listen to boss, get a paycheck. Since the reward system is different and it's work in a vehicle that I'm not that familiar with and someday I'll get a paycheck, it breaks our emotional Pavlovian syndrome and we tend not to do it. Break that logically and say, look, Upline has what I want. I'm going to listen to what they recommend for an extended period of time, and if I do that for an extended period of time and I still don't get results, then disrupt the system. Fair? Okay. By the way, that's what we did. We didn't create MLM Rebels because I was just, pissed one day. Actually, we're like, let's just throw rocks at stuff. We created MLM Rebels because we worked in a system for 6 years where we worked our guts out. We listened to everything our upline said. We did everything that they told us, and we were really good at it. We did get some results. But after those 6 years, it was like, why aren't the results requisite to the amount of effort that I've put in? Now I'm pissed. Now I'm going to break my rule. Now I'm going to break the rules, right? But we did what we were told consistently for a long period of time, and then we decided to change things. Now we can follow the stuff that we can all share the things that Upline is doing and get good results. Okay? So work, listen. 3 is associate. Associate with your team. So that means getting around your team every chance you can get. I was talking to Steve today. That's the person's house we're at right now. Steve is our sponsor. He is the only person with massive market share in both the US and Europe. We call him a founder in our company. He's the only one in our entire company that has that. We're at his house right now. Today we're talking for about a half an hour, and I was asking him a lot about his story and things like that. And so he got into some details that I had not heard before. And one of the things that he told me was that he was just like, I mean, I heard this part, of course, but he said it in different words, that he was super on fire. Everything that basically his upline promoted, he was at. If there was a conference, he was there. If there was a online meeting, he was at it. If his upline was put on a meeting, he was there. And you know what he did? Within 2 years, he went from 0 to quitting his job in 2 years. And he didn't just quit his job. He made enough money within like 13 months to quit his job. He doubled his corporate income within 2 years and then left. So the dude knows what he's talking about. That's called association. You become who you associate with. So work, listen, associate. Last one is do volume / change your buying habits. Whatever the money that you're spending is on consumable items that your company sells, switch that money over. All right. Now, if your company sells products that you didn't use beforehand, question, should I be using the product? That's number one. Let's just say you sell something that is really, really great, but you didn't use it before you got in the company. Whatever, that's fine. Make sure that you personally use that product. Okay. And 2, sell the product. Bottom line, hit your personal volume goals every single month. If you don't, are you really an example? Every single time that you are putting someone in business, or you're going through a day of your business, every single time that you're doing that, you want to make sure that, okay, if I had 1,000 people duplicating me right now, if I had 10,000 people duplicating exactly what I'm doing right now, would I be happy with the results of my team? And if you do volume every 3rd month, would you be happy with 10,000 people duplicating that? I don't know. You can answer that for yourself. Personally, I'd be really angry at myself. If I was doing my volume once every 3 or 4 or 5 months and I had 10,000 people duplicating me, I'd be like, are you serious? I could have 5 times the income if I actually just was on an auto ship. So work, listen, associate, change your buying habits, do your personal volume. Cool? Okay, so that's how you become an effective distributor for yourself. Remember I told you I'd show you how to become an effective distributor for you, and then we talk about how to work effectively with a downline and upline. So that's where we're gonna go next. By the way, those 4 habits that I just described, work, listen, associate, and do volume, are useful in any type of situation you're building a business. If you're building it totally old school and you just happen to be in this group because I don't know how you got here, but you just are, right? That's totally cool. Those work there. If you're building a business exclusively online, you can still do these 4 habits. Work, listen, associate, do your volume. That's the beauty of these 4 different habits. All you have to do is just say, okay, well, I build the business online, so I'll make sure I do my work over here. I build a business offline, I'll do my work over here. I do a mix, I'll do it here. Whatever. Cool? All right. Let me get a drink. By the way, I'm like super calm right now. I'd be like screaming if I didn't think he was sleeping. What are we doing? Oh, yes. Okay. Being effective with your downline and upline. All right. So a lot of people have trouble working with a downline or working with an upline. Specifically, actually, let's go downline first. All right. So let's go downline first. A lot of people have trouble working with their downline because they don't understand the different roles that they need to play. So for instance, I want you to answer yourself a few of these questions. Do you have trouble motivating your team? Do you have trouble with quitters? Do you not totally know what to do with people when they get in the business? Do you find yourself answering lots of questions that don't really matter? Do you wish your downline got faster results? If you answered yes to any of these, we're going to talk about how you can start doing the work to fix it. This isn't the end-all be-all, but this will help you start moving along the right lines. Generally, what we do is we try to be the answer man for everything. Now, there is these 2 different sides. There's 2 major sides of the equation here, and you need to kind of be in the middle, right? So one side of the equation is you are hardcore Mr. Recruiter. And you're just like, you don't answer any questions. You just put people in. You never talk to people again ever in your life. That's the side of the equation. The other side of the equation is you barely put anyone in, but you support people super hardcore. You answer all their questions no matter what. You stay up and serve people like to death and to your own detriment because you literally spend more time with them than you do getting your own success. Those are 2 sides of the equation. You need to be kind of someone here. Now, if you're going to pick one of these, personally, I think you should pick the hardcore recruiter side, because if you bring in enough people, eventually you'll get people that catch wind and they'll build their own team and they'll carry you up and you'll eventually create a big residual income. Now, will you create an impact? Maybe not. Will you create influence? Maybe not. Will you have a big income? Probably so. Could that income go away? It potentially could because you have no influence there, but at least you had an income for a while. So if you're over here, you can obviously see the detriment right here. You're never going to really get anywhere. So you need to be kind of somewhere in here. Okay, so that's the kind of the spectrum. When you're working with a downline, let's say it's me, and then we've got Joe. So it's Zach, Joe, Ashley, and Steve. Right? We just use these people. So Zach, Joe, Ashley, Steve. Let's say we're working with Charles down here. He's way down here under. Steve's going to confuse me. Zach, Joe, Ashley, Brent. That's her brother's name. And then Charlie down here. Okay? So we're working with Charlie. He's way down here. He's 4 in depth from Zach. Here's what I would probably do naturally. Charlie gets in the business, and Zach comes down, and Zach's like, hey, can I help you, Charlie? What can I do for you? Let me train you, whatever. Well, if they're engaged, Ashley and Brent are going to try to help Charlie as well. They're going to probably be like, hey, what can I do for you? Let me help you. Let me be your question man, all that kind of a thing. And Charlie's going to be receiving a lot of help. But here's the thing. If I am playing the same mental role as Ashley is, or as Brent is in the scenario to Charlie, if Charlie sees me as the guy who answers all of his questions, then that's who I am. I'm the guy who answers all of his questions. Now, he's not consciously thinking, this is subconscious. But if he sees me as the guy who answers all of his questions, then I'm the one that's answering all of his questions. If he sees Ashley as one who answers all of his questions, but maybe a little bit more nicely, he sees Ashley as one who answers all of his questions, but a bit more nicely. If he sees Brent as a bit of a pushover, which he's not at all, Brent's a very strong-willed man, but if he sees Brent as like a pushover or something, if he wants to get his way with something, he might go to Brent. Think of a kid coming to which parent, right? Who do I think I'm going to get my way with? Oh, I'll go with mom for this, dad for that. So this is what typically happens. And maybe if you're lucky, you have an upline that's strong enough to come in and say, hey, Charlie, do this, 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 and this, and he's there long enough to make sure that Charlie actually does it. But a lot of times that doesn't happen. A lot of times you just have a couple like random people trying to help Charlie, and they're all excited because Charlie just got into business, and so they're willing to do anything for him. They're bending over backwards for him. Charlie thinks that he has the power, which he doesn't, and so he's doing whatever he wants. And next thing you know, Charlie's running off like a wayward son, not actually doing anything he's supposed to be. He's not showing up to anything. He's barely doing his volume, and if he does show a presentation, he thinks he's God's gift to your company. Great. I really love network marketing now, don't you? So how do we fix it? Well, we have to define some roles. There's 3 primary roles that you want to play in your upline: friend, coach, and encourager. I would actually probably relabel that. I mislabeled those. I would say friend, encourager, driver. So when I say friend, actually, I don't know how these all got screwed up. I apologize for my typing here. This is actually friend / encourager, coach, and driver. Okay, so the 3 roles, sorry about that, took some bad notes. The 3 roles is driver, coach, and friend / encourager. All right, so here's how this scenario should look. Charlie gets in, we have a driver, coach, and friend / encourager. If you can work with people's strengths, you do that, obviously, but if you can't, then you get as close as you can. So a friend / encourager is generally not me, right? I'm more of a driver type. Now, for instance, my sponsor, his name is Steve. He's the guy that's taking a nap upstairs as far as I know. He is definitely a driver, okay? He's a hardcore driver. He basically just bypasses all the, if someone gives him excuses, he's like, yeah, I didn't hear any of that. Go sponsor some people because you could be like rich and free. Are you silly? Like, are you dumb? He's a really good driver. Right, that's his strength. He's great at pounding through rejection. He's great at getting results. He would be the driver in that case. So if I'm tag teaming with Steve with the downline, even though my strength is a driver, Steve's probably a stronger driver than me, so I'm going to let him play the driver role, and I'll probably slip into the coach role because that would be my next strength. Now we have a friend and an encourager. So for instance, Charlie gets in the business, right? Steve's probably going to act as the driver for Charlie. So he's going to say, all right, Charlie, this is your game plan. Remember, work, listen, associate, change your buying habits. This is your game plan. You're going to get on auto ship. You're going to listen to these audios. You're going to attend everything, and you're going to work. Here's how you're going to work. Here's the plan that you're going to follow. You're going to do X, Y, Z. right? When you run out of your list, you're going to do A, B, C. Boom. I'll check in with you in a week, and we'll keep moving forward. Let me know if you have questions about showing the plan to people. He's the driver. He's moving him forward. The driver generally also has the biggest results that you can promote. So if you have big results in your upline, promote them. So for instance, like in network marketing commissions, Steve has a lot more residual income than we do. So we're going to promote Steve's results. And so Steve can kind of, he's got that credibility. And what I'm going to do as the coach, because I'm the coach now, is I'm going to, because Steve can't say this without looking conceited, so I'm gonna paint all this light. I'm gonna shine light on Steve's results, and I'm gonna use that as the coach to help Charlie get what he said he wants. So in the very beginning, when I started Charlie, this was a few weeks ago we went over this, when I started Charlie, I found out what he wanted. And I said, Charlie, how do you like to be coached? Do you like me? Do you want me to just let you, when you make mistakes, because you're gonna make them, you wanna let me just let you run off into the desert and go, get picked by vultures, and then when you come back, you ask what's wrong? Or do you want me to see, when I see you going into the desert, about to get hit by a car and picked by vultures, do you want me to tell you first? Almost everyone says, tell me first. Like, okay, Charlie, you told me that you wanted freedom. You told me you wanted this, but right now your actions aren't lining up with that, man. Hey, tell me what's going on. I'm the coach. And he's telling me his stuff. He's telling me his crap. But basically, I'm like, hey, that's great, dude, but guess what? That stuff, man, is that really that worth it? Are you willing to give up what Steve has got? I'm promoting Steve's results. What Steve has got, the multiple six figures of passive income. Are you willing to give all of that up so that you can go to your softball game every week? Because that doesn't line up. Like what you told me you wanted doesn't line up with that. And you told me to be your coach, not your friend. And now I'm his coach, so I can help him make better decisions. Steve's driving. He's painting the picture. He's the upline in the sky. He's driving the whole process forward. I'm the coach. I'm helping along. I'm helping him realize his decisions. And then we have the encourager. We have the friend. That would be Brent and Ashley, right, in this scenario. And Brent and Ashley are going to be his buddy. They're going to be his friend. They're going to listen to him. They're going to say, oh, man, dude, I got your back, right? I'm with you all the way. I'm going to be by your side. I'm not going to leave you. And that's really all they're going to do. But they're never going to be like, hey, man, I know it's really hard. Hey, don't worry about it. Just go to the softball games, and it's okay. They're not doing that kind of crap. They're not justifying his excuses, but they are listening. Hey, man, dude, I totally understand. In fact, they're doing the feel, felt, found thing. Hey, man, I totally understand. I know how you feel. In fact, when I got in the business, I was in a bowling league, and I just couldn't give it up, right? I felt the exact same way. I could not logically bring myself to bring it up. But you know what really got me? What really got me is when I came home one night, and it was 8:45, and I came back from my bowling league, and my husband was basically passed out. He was watching a movie. He had made dinner like 3 hours ago, and the dinner was cold, and I was like, how much of this did I miss? And I realized I missed it every single day. I was like, dude, I can't miss this anymore. And the one night that we did have together, I was going to this stupid freaking bowling league. So I know how you feel, man. And I want you to have this softball thing. You know what I found, though? I found that putting in a little bit of extra work now, just delaying some of that gratification, can get you so much more later. I mean, when Steve first started his business, he really wanted to play football. He really wanted to coach football, right? But he put that on the back burner for a little bit. Just for 2 years, he put it on the back burner. And now today, within 2 years, he was able to quit his job with a multiple six-figure income. And now today, he can coach any team that he wants to because he's got all the time in the world. He said, man, I totally got you, man. But that's just the way I see it, man. And so now that's the friend. That's Ashley. That's Brent in that scenario. That's actually kind of slipping into the coach world, but that's okay. But you're the one that's kind of like brushing the feathers down. Another thing that the friend will do is brush the feathers down of the driver. So for instance, in this scenario, Steve's going to be driving the new guy, right? He's driving Charlie, and sometimes he's going to piss Charlie off because Charlie's like, why are you pushing me so hard? And so he's going to get pushed by him, right? He's like, I don't know, Steve's kind of a meanie, right? He's making me feel inadequate. You're like, it's like, and Steve is not going to, like, it's not his role to apologize for that, right? The friend is going to say, and by the way, the friend never ever takes the side of the downline unless it's like something immoral or unethical. but you defend the upline. Be like, hey man, I know Steve's, of course, he's got a little bit of a personality. Like, we've all got different personalities. He's got strengths. Zach's got strengths. I've got strengths, but we all have weaknesses. But listen, man, don't take, like, if he said something that, like, don't take something that he said, like, the wrong way and not get your freedom because he said something in a tone that you didn't like, right? Like, Steve has your best intentions in mind. In fact, there's a vested interest in him helping you succeed. If you succeed, he does better and he secures his future more. And his whole goal is to impact people and help influence them in a positive direction. So even though that sentence might not have come across the greatest, and if it did, it kind of stinks, but even if it didn't, like, it doesn't change his heart, man. Like, I know this guy's heart. I've been with him for years. I know that he wants to serve you at the highest level. So I would challenge you to look past that, man. And, I don't know about you, but, I know for me, I've definitely said things that maybe come out a little bit wrong, but my heart was there, That's another role of the friend or the encourager, right? And then that friend and encourager is also going to encourage. They're all going to do that. But the encourager is going to do the most, the coach the second most, and the driver the last, right? The driver is going to encourage them for sure. They're all going to do it, but the encourager is really going to be there to say, I believe in you. Okay, cool. Got it? So we just talked about using that for your downline. All you got to do is flip it upline if you have an upline to work with. If you don't have an upline to work with, it's okay. You don't need this. You can still recruit a lot of people. You can create this. You can teach them what I just taught you. But if you have an upline that's willing to work in your group, then do it. Now, a lot of you might not have an upline that's willing to work in your group, okay? And that's okay. It's totally fine. You don't need to have an upline that's willing to work in your group. Especially with our technology today, so much stuff can be automated that you don't probably need an upline like physically working in your group. You probably just need someone helping and coaching you. If that's the scenario, you just turn the driver into the pie in the sky thing, right? So I'm just painting a picture for people of what Steve's lifestyle is like, but Steve isn't driving anything, right? In fact, I'm probably driving it, but he's the one that I'm promoting. He's like the big upline I'm promoting, right? And then when I get a person on my team, now that person, they're going to be my coach, or they're going to be my friend, and maybe I'll act as the driver and the coach. You can double these roles up, but ideally you have multiple. What's really, really cool is when you have a huge line of sponsorship and you've got like 20 people in there, and you can get like 7 or 8 people involved. And you can like have like 2 or 3 encourages, 2 or 3 coaches, and like 1 or 2 drivers. You have all that happening. Here's what you're doing. Now you're really solidifying that person at the bottom, and 2, you're getting 7 or 8 people involved. What does that mean? Are they more likely to stick if they're involved? Heck yeah. Have you ever been at an event before and like you're at an event, you're just like, oh, this sucks. This is so boring. You're on your phone. You're bored out of your mind. Or maybe you're not showing it, but you are bored, right? And then out of nowhere, one of the speakers says your name. They're like, blah, 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 blah. And I just want to say really quick I just want to talk about Tom real quick. Man, Tom, you were doing such an incredible job at blah, 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 blah. And I'm so excited to have you here. What's your attitude about the rest of the event? You're probably, yes. I mean, at the very least, for the next 2 hours, you're pumped up, right? Oh, I'm actually pretty glad to be here. Thank you. Yes. You're excited, right? Why are you excited? Because he said your name for 30 seconds. If you can get all those people involved in the newest guy, you really think they're all going to leave? Of course not. Why do people stay in the business? This is review. They're making a lot of money. They believe they're going to make a lot of money, or they're having so much fun they don't care. If they're not making a lot of money, you have 2 other reasons. They believe they are, or they're having so much fun they don't care. If you're working with a downline that someone else put in for you, do you believe that, is your belief higher or lower that you're going to make a lot of money someday? It's higher. Are you likely to get out if your downline is growing? Negative. Are you having more fun if your downline is growing? Yes. If you can get more people involved, the further in depth, you're starting to solidify a team. I took this from an old upline we had named Larry. He said, depth is Greek for relationships. If you can get people with relationships deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, that leg will start getting super solid. And this is how you get relationships started in there, by getting more people involved with the newest people. If you get a person down, you use 45,000 in depth, right? One of the things that we do when we have people that get in the business, we actually got to get better at this, but let's say a guy gets 12 in depth. When we message him for the first time, hey, it's Zach and Ashley, super pumped to have you here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We copy most of his upline, not everyone, right? But most of his upline that's active and engaged. 10, 12 of them. Hey, dude, we're super pumped to have you. You're part of the blah, blah, the I can't even think of people's names right now. You're part of all these people's upline, right? And then all 12 people are getting the message. They're like, sweet, I got more people in my depth. Are they more likely to stay in the business or less likely to stay in the business now that their downline is growing? They're more likely. Are they more likely or less likely to talk about the different roles they should be playing in the depth? They're more likely. Are they more likely or less likely to have an auto ship go through if their downline is growing? They're probably more likely, right? All right, cool. So hopefully this made sense, everyone. I'm going to jump in here real quick. And Ben Larson, dude, I'm so excited to see Ben Larson. This is awesome. I love this dude. I gotta love his comment right there. Love. Anyways, hopefully you guys are all having an amazing day. Appreciate you, and I'm glad we got to spend some time together today. Do me a favor, drop a comment down below if this was helpful and useful for you. And once again, read the MLM Rebels Blueprint if, in fact, you want to create a leverageable and automated system to grow your business. With that, hopefully have an amazing day and amazing evening. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks, guys.